Oh my God. That's what went through my mind. I mean, there are no words to describe it.
Every time we have another one of these mass shootings, we start questioning what security measures are in place to keep us safe at the store, at a school, and tonight, our local hospitals. Katu's Kelly Azer has been digging into that part of the story today. She is live outside of Kaiser Permanente, northeast Portland. Kelly, you're hearing from hospitals today, some calling for action, others ramping up security. You heard from an ER doctor today. What did she have to say?
Yes, and she has a very interesting perspective because she's not only an ER doctor, she's also a Multnomah County Commissioner. I'm talking about Sharon Meieran. Now, she told me today that, yes, hospitals do prepare. She has been trained as an ER doctor and that there are a number of protocols in place. However, she says more needs to be done, but not on just one level, on all levels. Just a week after the mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, left 19 kids dead, another deadly mass shooting, this time at a hospital in Oklahoma, leaving 4 dead. A scary reality, even for hospital workers, often on the front lines of helping victims of gun violence.
To also then be on the front lines of it, I mean, can you even imagine?
Yeah, I mean, I can, and it is so frightening to go there.
Dr. Sharon Meieran is an emergency room doctor for Kaiser Permanente. She is also a county commissioner for Multnomah County.
Most people I know who are ER doctors or nurses have been exposed to some form of violence, and it usually takes the form of, a one-on-one encounter with a really agitated patient. But so many people I know have been injured and suffer from that and are hypervigilant because of that.
But she says a shooting like this one in Oklahoma is something no one is prepared for. She says hospitals have many safety protocols in place and requirements that they must meet. But she says more has to be done from all fronts.
We need to be thinking, and this, putting on my government hat, is what can we be doing to the policies we can enact that can support people so they are not facing this kind of threat and make things safer.
So the commissioner says that, on the hospital level, they need to be looking at their protocols and safety protocols that are in place. Also, county commissioners like herself, she says they need to be looking into what they can do for the county and the city as well. But it goes beyond that. She says the federal government also has to step up and make some changes so that tragedies like this never happen again. Now, she says to anyone who is nervous, whether working in the healthcare field or just going to a hospital for the care that you need, she says it is highly unlikely that one of these situations do happen. And she says it's more important that you get the medical attention you need than avoiding it.
Didn't hear convincing evidence yet that we shouldn't continue to prohibit all weapons, whether somebody has a concealed weapons license or not.
Portland Public Schools in the process of imposing stricter penalties on those who conceal carry a gun onto school property. Thanks a lot for joining us for K2 News at 11, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. A new state law passed last year gives them the power to do that. K2's Eric Mock joins us live from Grant High School in Portland. Eric, not everybody's on board with this policy.
It's true. If you walk into a Portland Public School campus, you're prohibited from carrying a weapon in with you. But Portland Public Schools needs to enact a new policy in accordance with that state law in order to enforce it on people with a concealed carry gun. But some staff at the school are saying that, if you prohibit those concealed carry guns, it actually makes campuses less safe. You may not see the signs for it, but Portland Public School Board member Julia Brim Edwards says weapons aren't allowed on school grounds.
PPS has long had a policy not to have any guns on campus. We think that makes our campus safer for our students.
But the district and school districts across Oregon couldn't really enforce that policy for those with a concealed handgun license. That is until Oregon passed SB 554 last year, giving public schools, colleges, and universities the ability to enforce a ban on concealed handgun licensees. But 8 months after that law was passed, the majority of Oregon's school districts haven't done it, including the state's largest, Portland Public Schools. I know some school districts have already passed this last year. Why has it taken this long to get it here at PPS?
Yeah, it's a great question. The committee started looking at this about 3 months ago.
It's taken that long, Brim Edwards says, for the district to make exemptions to the policy before it came before PPS's policy committee Wednesday, where parents with Moms Demand Action praised the move.
We know that guns and children do not mix. We need to do everything in our power to ensure that there are no gun mishaps on Portland Public School grounds.
Brim Edwards says that's the exact intention behind the policy, because there have been instances in PPS where a person's concealed gun went off by mistake.
There's been an accidental discharge of a weapon that somebody brought onto campus, not in any threatening way, but in a purse and just going off.
But Director of Risk Management for PPS, Joe Crellier, said he feels prohibiting responsible CHL holders from carrying would leave schools defenseless, especially since there are no longer any school resource officers on PPS campuses.
Without any perception of armed defense, what is stopping someone who is evil out of their mind?
But Brim Edwards says this is just one piece of a multi-pronged strategy to keep kids in school safe.
We've got millions of dollars of investments we're making in our buildings to make them safer.
As after all of these mass shootings, this is at the top of people's minds all across the country. We do know that Oregon has some gun control laws, but there is a call for more, and it's not just coming from Democrats.
The tragedy in Uvalde, Texas, is reigniting the debate around firearms.
We have to do more.
Democratic candidate for Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has a history of supporting gun control, voting in favor of
more background checks, safe storage laws, helping keep guns out of the hands of domestic abusers.
Her competition, independent Betsy Johnson, as pointed out by our news partners at Willamette Week, voted against many of those reforms, including against the red flag law and a bill to keep guns away from domestic abusers. But after an 18-year-old took an automatic weapon and villainously shot and killed 19 elementary students and 2 teachers in Texas, she changed her tune. Despite saying she's a gun owner and supporter of the Second Amendment, Johnson is now pushing for stronger background checks and is calling to raise the age to buy certain guns to 21. Kotek wants a change here too.
Does an 18-year-old need an assault rifle? I don't think so.
Johnson's pivot, a part of her political strategy, telling us the change shows she values representing all views, not just her own, adding, quote, "If I am asking others to compromise, I must lead by example and practice what I preach." On the other side, Republican Christine Drazan is doubling down on her support of the Second Amendment. Her website shows she has an A rating with the NRA. When asked what can be done to prevent mass shootings, she said strengthening school safety measures and better mental health services are crucial. She wants to invest in school resource officers and ensure those who should not be inside a school are restricted access.